Oh man, there's a lot going on in Thailand right now. There's this new variant going around. Test and go is currently suspended. You've got the Phuket Sandbox program. Testing needed to get into nightlife areas. New restrictions put in nightlife areas. There's a lot happening here. So anyway, why don't you come for a walk with me today through Bangkok, and I'll bring you up to speed on just what's happening here. So I normally hate doing videos like this. You know, I like to be positive. Good vibes only is my slogan, and the comments section normally turns into an absolute shit show. But I think it is important for me to bring you up to speed on what's happening here. There's so much misinformation out there. You know, I read on Facebook and on the internet of people's opinions and people saying what's happening here, and they're not even here. They're not even in this country. So I've been here. I've been through the restrictions. I've been here since the beginning of the restrictions. So it is important for me to show you and tell you exactly what's happening here, I think. Recently I noticed a real shift here in Bangkok, and actually everywhere that I visit in Thailand. I noticed it down in Pattaya as well, as it's gone from a place where only people lived. You know, there was no tourism, hardly anyone was coming over here. So it's basically just people that lived here, expats and stuff like that. But since tourism's resumed, pop-up bars are starting to open all over the place, night markets are coming back to life. Those people that come into the restaurants and try and sell you watches and sunglasses and things like that, you know, they're able to start working again. But you just notice the whole vibe here is different. There's people here that are on holidays, and it's a completely different vibe when people are here on holidays. The nightlife's coming back to life. More and more places are opening up. It's really cool. So the COVID numbers have actually gotten really good recently. We've been through everything. It started off really low and then it shot up with the Delta variant, and we really struggled with that, and that's when we had all these harsh lockdowns and restrictions and everything put in place, and then everything kind of leveled out and we were sort of on a downwards trend, and everything was looking really good for quite a while. The vaccine numbers have been looking great, and the restrictions started to ease and travel started to resume again with the test and go program here in Bangkok. But recently here, much like the rest of the world, we've got this new variant. I think there's been a very cautious approach into how it was handled leading up until now, and unfortunately a lot of the cases that we had are in the tourist areas. It's from people that have brought it in from overseas, and you know, there's been individual nightlife places shut down. So if there's staff in a bar that test positive, they'll close the bar for a few days and do cleaning and stuff. So unfortunately it just seems that it's been a lot of tourist areas that have been affected by this, and that's why the test and go program was currently suspended. I actually know a few people that have gotten it, and the risk of being thrown into quarantine sucks, and it's a real deterrent for people, understandably. Thankfully there has been no talks of lockdowns, although there was some restrictions around bars. They're looking to ease as well. The vaccination numbers here are really good. So there's now 47 million people have had 2 doses of vaccination, and there's 10 million people have had their 3rd booster shot, which is great. And then because the vaccination rates are so high, it seems like here they're going to take a more relaxed approach to this, much like the rest of the world, taking a more relaxed approach to this variant than the previous variants. Funny, I got sick just recently. I just caught a cold. You know, I tested a bunch of times to make sure. So basically I was drunk and I passed out with my air conditioning on really cold, and I woke up in the middle. You know when you're drunk and you just have that really deep sleep. So I didn't realize that I was cold, and I woke up in the middle of the night freezing cold, shivering. So the aircon was on like 21 or something like that. So anyway, I had a cold, and I've tested a bunch of times, but it's the worst time to have a cough. I've had this like lingering cough ever since, and to be a foreigner walking around here with a cough, it's not good. So the test and go program here in Bangkok is currently suspended, but I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. The Phuket Sandbox program is still going, and it's going really well. My good mate Dan the Man, another YouTuber here in Thailand, he's actually just been through there. He did a few videos on like what you needed to do to get in there and what Phuket's like at the moment. So I'll leave a link for his channel at the end of this, and you can check out his videos too. But the test and go program that's here in Bangkok was really good for tourism because it's a really fast way of entering the country. It's quite easy. So basically you fly in, you do the test, and once you get the result, basically that's it, you're all done. Often it was just an overnight thing. Sometimes it was even the same day. I've heard of people getting it just a few hours later, especially if they landed early in the morning. They would get the results back that afternoon, and then that's it, you're done. So that program was suspended in the middle of December, and it was suspended indefinitely, which raised a lot of questions as to, the future of travel here in Thailand. But they've just announced in the last couple of days that they are looking to resume that here in February again. And then the nightlife, as I sit here out the front of a closed Insanity nightclub here in Bangkok. So the nightlife was just starting to get really good. Bars that could trade as restaurants were open. Restaurants, they were open, places were getting busier. There was a really good nightlife starting to come back. And then everything got worse. So unfortunately it was announced originally that nightclubs and everywhere could open on January 15 or January 16, but that's been suspended indefinitely. They haven't decided when that's going to change yet, which is a real bummer for sure. There was a lot of misconceptions as to exactly what constituted as a bar that could trade as a restaurant. But basically any bar that had the restaurant license could be open. You didn't need to have food. You could basically just come in as normal. I've been in nightclubs that are restaurants. I've seen strip clubs open in Pattaya that are restaurants. You might not want to eat there, but like I said, you don't need to eat to go into these places anyway. So now currently we've gone back to everything has to close at 9 p.m. Not everywhere's playing by those rules, and it's up to you, the individual, as to whether you want to find those places, but they are around. But that being said, the nightlife in Bangkok is still okay. It's just a bummer. It was getting better, honestly, week after week after week, and with the test and go, there's more and more people coming in. So it was getting busier, and the nightlife was really starting to come alive, and then here we go again. But there is a massive push at the moment to get the bars to stay open until 11 p.m. again. I mean, most people are saying, what's the difference if it's open till 9 or open till 11? It doesn't really change much. So we should actually have an answer for that within the next few days, which is exciting too. As for the nightclubs and the go-go bars, well, actually a lot of go-go bars have already opened as restaurants, but the nightclubs haven't been able to. Some have managed to adapt, and they put tables in and you can sit down and you can eat food if you want to, but it's a little bit of a grey area here in Bangkok. Just yesterday alone, over 400 venues here in Bangkok applied for the restaurant license because everything got pushed back and the new opening date isn't confirmed yet. I will actually do another nightlife tour in the next couple of days here in Bangkok to show you exactly what's happening here, but there is still some nightlife. So what's happening in Pattaya? I know a lot of viewers of this channel like to be kept up to date with what's happening there, and I actually just spent a week down there and just got back a couple of days ago. So Pattaya, it was really starting to come alive. I did a nightlife tour there about a week or two ago, and things were looking really good at that point. Since then, Pattaya really got hit with the COVID cases and it started to quieten down. And then a lot of places have implemented that you need to do testing to get into an area. So I went out to a club in Walking Street and I had to do a negative test to get in there. That's a massive deterrent for a lot of people, and understandably so. The negative is, if you do test positive, then you get taken away and you get put in quarantine. So that's a massive deterrent. No one wants that. And to be honest, when I did my test, I was a little bit nervous doing it because you don't know what's going to happen. You can get the same test from a 7-Eleven. So I did one at home before I went out just to be sure. But I do understand why this is a massive deterrent from people. And you notice once places implemented this, I could see it just instantly got quieter and there was less people going out to those areas. So just yesterday, Tree Town got closed down for cleaning. As soon as any staff members test positive in a place, they basically close the place down for a couple of days, give it a deep clean, and then they'll reopen. So this place is starting to open up at the moment, but unfortunately, just a few weeks ago, it was much better than it is right now. So currently the bars have to close there at 9 p.m. as well, but there's a big push going on at the moment and it's being reviewed. So that may change to 11 within the next couple of days. So not all the venues there require testing, and once you've done one of those tests, it's actually valid for 72 hours. So you can take a photo on your phone and you can use that for the next 3 days if you want to go out somewhere. So hopefully things improve there soon. It just depends on the whole approach that's going to be taken with this new variant that we have here. So is it worth coming? That's a really difficult question to answer. It's going to vary so much person to person. If I was to give just a black and white answer of whether it's worth coming, I would say yes, it is worth coming. I've met a lot of people here throughout my time here, people that have traveled over here, people that recognize me from the channel and have come up to have a chat. I'll chat to everyone that comes over. And I ask every single person, you know, are you glad you came here? Did you make the right decision? Because I do tell people how great it is here and how much fun you can have here. And I want to make sure that I'm on the right track with saying that. But every single person that I've asked if they're happy they've came, every single person is glad they came. The obvious risk is unfortunately that you may test positive somewhere along the line and have to go into quarantine. There are ways that you can minimize that risk. You know, you can buy home test kits while you're here and do them yourself. They're not 100% accurate, but it's still good to do anyway. I've done them a bunch myself, just for that little extra peace of mind. I can totally understand if people don't want to take that risk. It's just something that's going to vary person to person. But taking that factor out, can you still have fun here? Absolutely. You can still have an amazing time here. So I'm hoping this doesn't start a complete shit show in the comments. You know, keep it classy, people. Good vibes only. Oh, and actually on that, so speaking of good vibes only, so I've finally finished my clothing line. I've got it all ready. I've got a whole bunch of logos and I'm going to be releasing them one by one. So by the time you see this video, the website's going to be up, it's ready, you'll be able to order it. And I'm only going to release the logos one at a time, and there's only going to be a limited amount of each. So if you do like it, jump in and grab it because it won't be around for long. And once that's gone, I will bring out a new logo, and the old logo won't be available anymore. It's only a super limited amount, and then I'm going to cut it off completely. So jump over and check that out. I'll leave a link for that below and in the comments section. The shirts are made in the UK and in the US, so if you're in one of those countries, it'll get delivered to you quickly. Otherwise, you know, back in Australia or anywhere in the world, you can get it delivered to you. Being that the shirts are made in those countries, you know, the quality is going to be really good. The sizes are normal. Go ahead and check that out. It's something I'm really excited about and I've been working on for quite a while now. All right, well, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I hope this was informative. I hope this gives you a bit of insight as to what's happening here. I'll keep you updated. You know, as I said, there's a lot happening here at the moment, so I'll try my best to keep you up to date. I always like looking to my favorite YouTubers to find out what was happening here. It's more interesting than watching the news, in my opinion. And it's good to get information from someone who's actually here and someone who really knows what's going on. As I mentioned earlier, I'll do a nightlife video in the next couple of days, so if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.